that said, I'm going to go ahead and stop talking and turn it to our first two demonstrators, Melissa and Mira.
Great, thank you, everybody. So I'm pretty well organized here, and there was a lot of stuff that I did before, because if I started really from scratch, we would never get through it. So this recipe was my mother's, and
we're lucky to be joined by a lot of her family tonight.
Yes, a lot of our family is here from Albany, from Florida, friends from Chicago who are sheltering in San Francisco right now, and you know, etc. So thanks everybody for being here. Anyway, so meatballs. So I'm actually making it with 3 pounds, but I told you 2 pounds, and you use 2 eggs. So the first thing to do is crack the eggs in a bowl and whisk them, and then throw the meat in and use your hands to mix it up. Wash your hands first, please, obviously. Then you mix it up and get all that egg mixed into the meat. And then you add, for 2 pounds, between 1/4 and 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs, and unflavored breadcrumbs. My Ralph's order last week gave me panko breadcrumbs, which is great. They happen to be gluten-free. They don't have to be gluten-free, but you don't want Italian seasoned. You don't want Viennese. You just want basic plain breadcrumbs, just to give the meatballs a little heft. So
Melissa,
I left. Yes.
I just want to make the announcement. If you have any questions that you'd like me to ask, please put them in the chat section. Also, when you get the chance, if you don't mind sharing why this is meaningful to you and the family.
Oh, this recipe? Oh, because I grew up on it. I mean, like, basically.
My bubby made these all the time. This was her specialty. And the reason why a lot of my mom's measurements aren't so precise is because my bubby would never use precise measurements. The way this recipe is written calls for half a bottle of this, half a bottle of that. So that's why a lot of the measurements are just guesses, because that's the way she liked to cook. She was never one to follow a recipe except the ones in her brain.
Right. And I first got this recipe from her when I was a lawyer in Chicago, and I was making like a party at my apartment, and she called to give me the recipe, and I was in the library at Friedman and Coven, because the recipe's written down on a buck slip from Friedman and Coven, and it's like half a bottle of ketchup and almost the whole bottle of chili sauce, and you know, and it's very breadcrumbs, just breadcrumbs, not how many. So I've tried to adapt it so other people could make it. So in any event, Mira's going to finish making the meatballs. I've sliced one of the onions. I've left the other one to slice with you, because I once took a knife class at Sur La Table, and there is actually an easy way to slice onions. Not that you're not going to cry anyway, but you slice it in half and then cut this part off. Then you peel it. Very easy. The peel comes off that way. And one extra layer because there's some spots on it. And then you leave it intact here at this end. Can you see that? You leave it, and then you slice it this way. And the slices come very easily. And it's a great, safe way to cut an onion. And
I cry no matter what.
Right. And then the second half, same thing. I'm going to slice this end with like the root end, I guess. Slice that off. And then slice the whole onion in slices. Let's do what I said, which is to peel the skin off. Right. And then slice the onion. Okay. I'll slice it. All right. That's okay. Take your time. And then we're going to take the onion and we're going to put it in the pot of water. Now the water, you put in about 2 inches of water in a soup pot. I use this pot. This pot, I don't know if I'm pointing at the right camera. Okay, this pot, just a regular, I don't know, it's a Cuisinart or something, or no, Calphalon, whatever. And so 2 inches of water. And you want to know, how do you measure 2 inches? You take one of your fingers and you go to this knuckle, and I put it in the pot, And then I fill the water, and when the water hits this part of my knuckle,
Love Berenbaums.
I stop. Hi, I don't know who just said hi.
I did. Did you start already? I don't see anyone else here.
Yeah, by the way,
besides me.
Melissa,
Yeah.
a couple people were letting pass the timing. Do you mind just very briefly sharing the first few steps real quick?
Oh, right. Okay. So I mix the meat by cracking the eggs, mixing up the eggs, and then adding, using a whisk so that the egg yolk and white are all mixed. And then I add the meat, and I mix the meat and the eggs together, so they're all blended. Then I add the breadcrumbs, and for 2 pounds, the amount of breadcrumbs is between 1/4 and 1/2 cup, just depending on, how the texture of your meat is. But you want to be able to make meatballs and not have the egg and meat sort of slither out of your hand. So then I slice 2 onions.
You're pointing it to the top.
Right. The pot's in the way. Okay, so let's put the pot over here. And so you can see the onions are in very nice slices. I'm going to dump them in the pot, and I'm going to let that water boil.
Water.
So the water has to boil. Now we have some
What water?
downtime. This is where you could, I don't add any salt, by the way, if you noticed, we don't add any salt. It's kosher meat, so it's already been salted. The breadcrumbs probably have a little bit of salt in them, but we don't add meat. The good flavor is going to come from the sauce part. So this is going to take a few minutes. This would be the place where you can keep making your meatballs. And when the water boils is when you put the meatballs in. Okay.
Someone's asking what water. The 2 inches of
2
water.
inches of water. 2 inches of water that's in the pot. Okay. So yeah, I said you fill the pot with 2 inches of water. I said you measure it by taking your finger. I happen to use this finger, 2 inches, the second knuckle. So I put it down in the pot under the faucet. And when the water gets up to here, then I stop the water. So now we have a little downtime, which again, this is the first time I'm doing this, in front of a camera, cooking in front of a camera. So I tried to plan it out, but obviously Bobby Flay hasn't called me for his show. And
she was getting nervous before this, and I said, it's just Temple Beth Am and your family. No one from Chopped is here or anything.
So let me tell you about the ingredients. So Heinz chili sauce. This is the only chili sauce to use. Don't substitute any other kind of chili sauce. This is it. And ketchup. We still use Heinz ketchup. Probably the organics are okay to use. But again, this is the tried and true. This is what we use. Now, the recipe, when it says like 1/2 bottle of ketchup, it was half. Do you remember the old fashioned, like 30, 40 years ago, Heinz made a glass bottle of ketchup, kind of narrow. It was a 14 ounce, it had 14 ounces of ketchup in it. They don't make that anymore. So if you used 1/2 bottle of that old Heinz ketchup, that's basically about a cup of ketchup. But for good measure, I would throw in at least 1.5 cups. And that's what I'm going to do when we get to that point. So these are the basic ingredients. Brown sugar. Again, I use golden light brown sugar, house brand, or no, this is C&H. It's not a house brand, but you can use whatever your local supermarket brand is. That doesn't have to be anything name brand, so that's okay. And then my mother always used crystals of sour salt. I was never comfortable with that because it was like individual crystals. So I just, she said you could always substitute lemon juice.
Melissa,
Yes.
don't worry about crystals of sour salt because you can't get them.
Oh, it doesn't exist anymore.
My wife,
right.
Barbara,
It
used to
does
get
though. I didn't think it
could
did,
never
but it
get
does.
for stuffed cabbage, so they're not existent.
Okay, so lemon juice.
Melissa, can I just ask you a quick question? Because I don't know why it didn't go on for me when you apparently started, and I checked in on time. You did the eggs with the chicken and the breadcrumbs, right?
Yeah, I mix I crack the
Whisk
eggs.
the eggs.
I whisk them, then I add the meat. Oh, and I didn't say anything. For those who are not beef eaters, I have not made these with ground turkey or ground chicken, but I presume they will be just as delicious. And I would probably add a little bit more breadcrumb because ground turkey and ground chicken don't have the same consistency as beef. So you may find that you need to add a little bit more of the breadcrumb. But
Okay, so that's all you put together.
Yeah, I'm talking to, oh, right, I know, Mira keeps reminding me. I'm seeing all of you, so I'm talking to you, but I should be talking to the iPhone. We're working with 2 devices here, very sophisticated. So yeah, Leah, if there's any other questions in the chat.
I think Aunt Cheryl just said something about measurements.
My sister's on, okay.
Yeah,
Cheryl?
feel free at this point to unmute yourself if you want to ask a question directly.
I am here. Yep. And
Okay,
there
that's my
is, you're
sister.
still able to get sour salt because I have a fresh bottle in my brand new spice cabinet in my new house. So
What does it look like?
I'll go get it.
Yes, it can get sour salt, but you can't get the crystals.
Okay. So you
Plus-
can, then I would be very parsimonious. If you're using sour salt, I would use like 1/8 of a teaspoon to start with, a very small amount. You can
Right.
always add more. Do not use a lot of sour salt.
I guarantee you can't get the crystals, but you can get sour salt.
Right. So the other thing to mention while we're waiting for the water to boil is I did contribute this recipe to the Pressman Academy cookbook that our next chef, Natalie Weiss, was the editor of. We did this, I believe, in 2006, a while ago. But I don't know.
You're taking me back. You're taking me
It
back.
takes us back. It takes us back, Natalie. That's right.
I have
Right,
that
so-
one on my, I have that one on my show.
Can you please do this right
We
now?
do. All right. So sweet and sour meatballs is in this cookbook, right? So also with the same measurements, half a bottle of ketchup, mostly all of a bottle of the chili sauce. So anyway, it's there for reference for those who have it. So
Okay,
anyway, if you can make this, the other thing is this is flexible on amounts. Like I gave you the recipe for 2 pounds. If you make it for 3 pounds, use 3 eggs instead of 2 eggs. But you always use just 2 onions and the same 2 inches of water, no matter
Yeah, where'd the onions
how
go?
much meat you're using. Okay, so you use the
onions
same
are in the
amount
pot.
of onions. The onions are already in the pot, and the water,
Oh.
we're waiting for the water to boil. It should be.
Okay.
So our uncle is
Put it
right.
in here.
It is, Melissa.
What?
Sour salt
I don't know,
is
right?
granulated sour
Granule,
salt.
not
Okay.
crystals, right? So use very little. You would use very little if you're using this. Yeah, right.
Renee, are you good? Do you have any
No,
other questions?
No, I'm very confused. I'm very not good.
So
Renee, you can't follow
Yes.
this?
No, I'm not following.
Part where you cut the onions.
What?
Okay,
So-
I have the chicken and the eggs and the breadcrumbs in here.
You have that in a bowl, yes.
Got it. Okay, and what's in the pot besides the water?
Water and 2 onions sliced, peeled
They
and
have to be
sliced.
sliced because I can't cut any onions. I bought the frozen kind. I can't cut.
Okay, well, I mean, I use them as sliced because they're nice to, when you eat them, it's nice to have those kind of stewy onions. They add to the flavor.
And you're boiling the water?
I'm boiling the water because then I'm going to put the meatballs in to boil and get mostly done before I add the ingredients that make the sauce.
Okay.
Okay.
are there
You
any
should
other
turn it on.
questions?
Should turn the water on now. It's too late. Yeah, okay. Well,
All right.
next time we'll know how to time it a little bit better. So here, I'll take the.
All right. Well, with that said,
When you make the sauce, you can add everything all in the same time, and the meatballs will only take 5 or 6 minutes. Oh, our water is boiling. Look at that. There you go. Okay, so let's do this. Oh, nicely boiling. And now Mira and I will together take all the meatballs and toss them in.
For the latecomers, you might want to remind them that you used 3 pounds of meat. in
I
case
use
they
3
think-
pounds, right, so this is, thank you, Muriel, this is gonna make more than what you all are making with 2 pounds. And the reason I did this is, I'm gonna give some to a friend, but also these freeze really, really well with the sauce in a container And often I make 4 pounds at a time and freeze them in 2 different containers. When Josh and Mira come home
It's
from
the first thing she took out of the freezer when I got home in November.
yeah, they're a big hit in our house. So now I'm just gonna cover this and let this go for a few minutes until they're brown. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the pot and dump some of the water out. Leave some of it in, about half. So obviously the meat throws off a little bit of fat and it creates a little more liquid. And I have found that the sauce is more liquidy and it's a little better if you get rid of some of the water. So I wind up throwing out, just in the sink, about half the water. So
Someone
we'll do
asked,
that.
did you put ketchup, chili, and brown sugar already in the pot?
No, that goes after. So you let the meat cook, the meatballs cook just in the water with the onions until they've cooked through in the boiling water. And then you make the sauce afterwards.
Melissa, about how long will they cook in the boiling water?
6 or 7 minutes. You want to get them brown. So we're being asked to show what it looks like in the, can you see that? So you can see, so the water, they're almost
Excuse
covered
me.
with water.
Do you know where you put UPS stuff? FedEx?
Okay, somebody,
FedEx here?
Oh, hold on.
Jill, you need to mute us. That's my friend Jill.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Okay, so you can see these are browning up already, right? And the water's boiling. So we're gonna let them go about another 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, and then we'll take the water over to the sink. We'll get rid of some of it. We'll take the pot over to the sink, get rid of some of the water, and then make our sauce. Any other questions? Renee, are you caught up?
I think so. I mean, the meat is together. And so after it cooks in the pot, then you add all the chili, ketchup, brown sugar, and lemon.
Yes, exactly right. The sauce comes after. Oh, right. I'm supposed to talk here. It's very confusing. Leah, you're right. It's confusing to have 2 devices.
Well, it's better than not being able to see anyone.
Right. Okay, this water is going really well. And those meatballs look cooked enough. So I'm gonna, right now, just shut the burner off so the house doesn't catch on fire.
Way to hear.
What's that? And now I'm gonna do this. This is a little tricky. I'm gonna put on better pot holders.
Those burn. Those aren't great.
Those aren't great? Okay, then I'm gonna put these mitts on. Right? Okay, and what I do is I leave the top on, but leave it so that there's space for some water to go out. And a couple of dumps of water, and that will be good. Okay, now I'm going to come back here to the stovetop, and I'm going to add, I'm going to measure this out this time because we're doing this together. I'm going to start with a cup. This is the ketchup, right? A cup and a half. Right? Okay. And the brown sugar, correct? Half a cup of brown sugar, right? Packed in. I do pack it tightly. Get more that way. Okay, and then the chili. And so 3/4 of the bottle. So this is 12 ounces.
So like a cup.
Yeah, another cup, but I like doing it by almost the whole 3/4 of the bottle. It's more fun that way. Okay, so then
Probably more.
no, I think that's about right. Yeah, it's coming down to about here.
Sorry,
what's
Melissa,
left.
one question. You don't put the meatballs in until the water's boiling, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, you let the water boil and then the meatballs go in. Okay, so now I put in the brown sugar, I put in the ketchup, I put in the chili sauce. Now I'm gonna take my spoon, I'm just gonna mix it around so that, right, so that everything gets mixed in and the sauce starts to turn a reddish color, obviously, because we have all these red ingredients in there, right?
Zoom in on the.
Okay, and now I'm going to use some lemon juice. And I'm going to use 2 tablespoons. And I may add more depending on the flavor later on. But now I'm going to, there's 1 tablespoons, right? Okay.
You need me to do anything?
And, oh, sorry, I should have had you do that, right? Okay, you want to mix it around?
Sure.
Okay, then we're going to mix it and then we're going to let it simmer. And, you know, minimum half hour. And these can't really overcook. These cannot really overcook. So whenever it's convenient for your dinner hour, that's good enough. So they're on a low flame here. And I'm going to let them simmer. And I may adjust the seasoning. I may add a little more brown sugar. I may add a little more lemon juice. Just, it's now to your own taste, like what tastes good. And that's sweet and sour meatballs. Now, growing up, we ate these on top of a big giant plate of mashed potatoes. Okay, because the sauce is really tasty and it's not really a soup, but soaked up by the mashed potatoes, it was yummy. Now we are more health conscious. So we in this house have done away with the mashed potatoes and we use like cauliflower, mashed cauliflower. So you can boil up a cauliflower, you know, cut it up, the florets, and then just mash it, add a little margarine, and you can do it the same way. Use your,
Immersion blender.
You can use your immersion blender to get the,
Right, Leslie?
yeah, you can use your immersion blender to get the cauliflower nice and smooth, and it works just as well. So enjoy. It's 5:27.
One more question.
Yes.
Look
Go
the
ahead.
other way. Look at me. Hi.
At the phone.
Look at the phone.
Hi.
Yeah.
No, I'm teasing you.
You're teasing. Oh yeah.
I have another question. So you said after like around 6 minutes, you pour out about half the water, but leave the
Yes.
onions and the meatballs in there, and then put in the brown sugar, chili sauce, and ketchup.
Yes.
And the
Yes. And leave the onions in.
Yes.
Do not let
And
any
then-
of those
and the
onions
lemon
slip
juice.
out.
And the lemon
Right.
juice.
And the
Okay.
lemon juice. Right. Okay.
Get all those onions in there.
Yeah. Leave all those onions in there because they
Otherwise, your husband might complain that there's not enough onions.
That's true.
Anyway. Okay. So that's it. And enjoy. And now, Natalie and Tamar are going to whip up some dessert.
Yeah, now we go from the main dinner to dessert, and we're going to be hearing from Natalie Weiss, and also Tamar, her daughter. She's going to share, you know, what this meal means to her. So with that said, Mira, do you mind switching the angle to Natalie?
Yeah, I'll switch that up right now.
Okay, I can watch it on there. I can shut this
Yeah,
off.
you can shut off the phone.
Hi, everybody. So I'm so excited to be here. Also, I have some family members here. This is my husband, Aaron. That's Aaron. And then my daughter, Tamar, is here. Tamar, say hi. She's in New York.
Hi.
Where's Tamar? Oh, is she saying hi?
Hi,
And then
I'm here.
Hi, Tamar.
Hey,
My-
everyone.
So Tamar and Mira are graduates of
Hi, Renee.
the
Hey,
Academy.
Ham.
And also our son Boaz just joined, and Boaz's class of 2000, Tamar's 2014, I think, and Boaz is 2012.
Less.
12.
Yeah.
No.
Mother, no, I was 2010.
No, don't listen to him. That means he
2010.
graduated 2 years before the girls did.
Tamar's 2010 and Boaz 2012 and Mira, are you 2014? Anyway, they're all
Yeah,
dating.
I was freshman class of 2014.
Okay, so I'm just thrilled that they're joining us because I work in admissions at the school and I watch them all graduate, and it's very exciting for them to be joining us tonight. Also, my mom is here and my phone's been blowing up because this meatball cooking is getting all these memories from my mom about her mother's meatballs, which actually I've never made. The big joke I'd say in my family is that I'm not the best cook. I'm kind of like what you'd call hit or miss. Like sometimes I hit it really great and many times I don't. But you're in luck tonight because this recipe pretty much always comes out great. I do like to bake. I don't love to cook so much. So this recipe is super easy. It's super versatile. And you probably have most of the ingredients on hand if you ever bake. If you don't bake, you might not have this stuff. But let's see, I'm gonna start. Tamar, do you want to say anything, Tamar and Boaz?
I will echo what my mother said about her being a hit or miss cook. Though we always were very well fed growing up, I will say that. And over quarantine, I went home for most of, from like March to August, and I basically decided that if we, we're all going to be eating all of our family meals together, then they would have to be good. So I took it upon myself to kind of become the chef of the family, and worked on my cooking skills. But then today I actually, ironically, pulled something that was, a page out of my mom's book when I put some quinoa on the stove and then completely forgot about it, and then set off the smoke alarm in my apartment while my roommate was on a call.
That's so sad because that's exactly why I'm a bad cook, because my biggest problem is that I start to cook and then I leave the kitchen and I get distracted and I forget that I've been cooking something.
Timers, Nat, timers.
I know, but.
No, totally. So anyway, that was like a nice little reminder of what, my genes are really telling me to do, which is forget whatever you put on the stove and let it burn.
Oh,
but anyway, it was salvageable actually. And I ended up learning a really cool trick. If you're ever trying to clean a burnt pot or pan, take note. You can you guys probably all already know this, but you put a little baking soda and then just a touch of water. And then if you make a ball of aluminum foil and then use the ball of foil to scrub it, you can get all of the burnt stuff off. So there you go.
For that. Boaz, do you want to say hi before we get started?
Hi, everyone. I'm actually cooking dinner right now and also happy to be here. I guess my mom's banana bread is just the best. And that's basically what I have to say. It's my favorite baked good that my mom makes. She makes some pretty good cookies sometimes too, but the banana bread is just really the one. So everybody's getting the best of the best, sort of sometimes, but it's the best.
Okay, thanks, Boaz. Boaz is working the ski lifts in Wolf Creek, Colorado. He's been working there, so excited. And my mom is Sandra Borak. Mom, wave. That's my mom. Okay, I'll start now. First of all, this is the Moosewood Cookbook. It doesn't even have the cover anymore. It's one of my oldest cookbooks from when I was in my 20s. You could see how these pages for the banana bread are just completely used. The book like opens up. I don't even really need the cookbook anymore because I know it. I do make chocolate chip.
One that looks just like that, Natalie.
Yeah. And I also make chocolate chip cookies all the time. I don't really need that recipe, and the recipes aren't that different. So here I have one of those, what, KitchenAid mixers, right? But you don't need that. You can do this all really in 2 bowls, two big bowls, because you have your wet ingredients and your dry ingredients, okay? And basically, I really like to use ripe bananas that are kind of already showing the brown dots like this. And Aaron, okay, so, well, I'm gonna take, you need the softened, this is butter, by the way. We just had meatballs, so I wanna make it very clear that this recipe can be parve, okay? Parve, we're not cooking meat and milk together. We're in 2 separate kitchens right now. But I will tell you that, well, we did some work in our kitchen a couple years ago, and our kitchen is dairy. We don't really have we don't cook meat in our kitchen. So I'm gonna do the wet ingredients first, which is to take the ripe bananas, right? These are 5 bananas. I do about 5 bananas, and I'm gonna put them in there. And then I'm gonna warm the butter in the microwave, just 30 seconds. So I'm gonna do that.
How much butter?
A cup of butter. I think and then I have 3 eggs that are beaten.
You did everything before.
Yeah.
By the way, on the recipe pages, FYI, bananas were not listed.
But it says, see, that's exactly what gets me into trouble. Exactly, that I start baking.
Wait, it did say bananas in the email.
No, it says bananas. It doesn't have chocolate chips. And we see why, when you showed us the book, that one wasn't chocolate chips. It was just banana breads. Now we know why you didn't tell us about the chocolate chips.
Okay, that's because my motto in life and cooking is everything's better with some chocolate chips in it. So this recipe is not chocolate chip banana bread, it's banana bread. But ever since my kids were younger, it's so much better with chocolate chips. Semi-sweet. You can get like Trader Joe's or Nestle. So I never have made this without chocolate chips.
Is it a cup? Is that a cup of chocolate chips in this recipe, or 2 cups?
I just usually put the whole bag in. So this is 12 ounces.
12 ounces, a cup and a cup.
And then, so I'm pouring in the butter right here.
Hey, Natalie, I'm making only half the recipe. So you say 3 eggs. Should I use 1 or 2? Or what do you think?
2.
Use 2? Okay. Yeah. And everything else. And 2 bananas?
No, you have 3 bananas?
3 bananas? Okay.
3. Okay, then
Wait.
vanilla is like 2 teaspoons. I'm not measuring it. I'm just gonna like pour 2 teaspoons in. And then
pause, wait. If I don't have a mixer, can I just do it in a bowl with a whisk or my hand?
If you don't have a mixer, you just use a spoon and elbow grease and mix.
Okay, wait. And it was the butter and the bananas and the eggs, or leave the eggs? You're going too fast.
Oh, I'm going too fast? Okay. I basically put bananas, butter, eggs, vanilla, and sugar. Now, this recipe calls for brown sugar only, but I'm telling you, I just do my best. Like if I'm low on brown sugar, I throw in some regular white sugar. If I only have 3 bananas, I make it with 3 bananas. By the way, you can also substitute the bananas for like a can of pumpkin. If you have pureed pumpkin and make it pumpkin bread, we've made chocolate chip pumpkin bread. I've probably once done zucchini, but not that much.
Yeah, somebody actually just asked if they could add zucchini shredded if they didn't have enough bananas, and a small container of unsweetened applesauce.
Oh, yeah, you could do that too. By the way, I want to show you what it looks like when you're finished. So, because I'm not going to have time to bake it on camera. So last night I baked it and my husband ate about like half of a loaf last night, you can see between last night and this morning. It goes very fast. It also freezes well. You could throw one in the freezer, but when I make a recipe, it always makes two loaves like this. And because we already have 1.5 and we're going to be baking 2 more loaves, my husband asked if we could pour in blueberries instead of chocolate chips in one of the loaves. So you can, I didn't mention that ahead of time. I didn't say anything about blueberries, but tonight one of our loaves is going to be banana blueberry bread and one will be banana chocolate chip. Okay, so
how
now,
much brown sugar?
What?
How much brown sugar?
1 1/3 cups. So I'm gonna mix this now. Okay. See, that's going.
Natalie, I have a question while that's mixing. If someone's cooking the from the parv list that you sent out, how would it be different and what would they be doing?
I think the only, so first of all, you can use margarine instead of butter. I would just do a straight swap. And then you can buy parv chocolate chips at the kosher market. And I think that's it. Those are the only 2 dairy items. I'm not vegan, even though I do try and, not to eat too much dairy. So I don't know how to make, I don't know what the egg substitute would be if you wanted to substitute eggs. There's probably like some kind of substitute for that too. Okay, so we'll get this going in a second. So now the dry ingredients, I already measured out 4 cups of flour. Now, this recipe actually has you do 2 cups of wheat flour and 2 cups of white flour. That's in the Moosewood Cookbook, but I just do whatever I have. So if I have wheat, I don't even buy too much wheat flour anymore, but I used to always have both kinds of flour. So you could do half wheat, half white flour if you want to kind of, that's a little healthier for
It
you.
says 2 cups flour.
4 total. Did I say 2 in the recipe?
That's what my recipe says.
Oh, okay. So that's a mistake. It's 4 cups. I hope you guys all have, if you're baking along, 2 more cups of flour. See, that's part of my problem. Okay, now you're supposed to put in, let's see, baking powder, 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Okay, 3 teaspoons of baking powder. And then we have baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. I'm putting that in there. And then salt is a teaspoon of salt. So I'm just putting the salt in. And then if I'm like paying attention, I just shake some cinnamon in. So cinnamon gone. Some cinnamon at the end of our cinnamon. You could put a little nutmeg. And then I take, this is like really handy whisk to get all the dry ingredients mixed. See, so I'm just mixing like this, dry ingredients. And then I'm just gonna mix that a little bit more. Oh, my husband found some more cinnamon. So I'm gonna pour a little more cinnamon in and mix that. Okay. See that's going? You wanna get that? Okay, so that's pretty good. And, oh, I'm not gonna do that. And then I'm gonna mix in like a little at a time, the flour. Keep mixing it. It really doesn't take that much time at all, this recipe. Oh, by the way, I turned the oven on to 350. So the oven's warming up to 350. See? And now I'm gonna put the rest of the dry ingredients in. There we go. And I'm gonna, it's getting a little like, so easy.
What's your apron say?
Oh, Erin said I should show you my apron, Pressman Academy. Okay, so basically this is done so fast and easy. And I'm just gonna get all this off of here, all the batter. And Tamar, do you want to share any stories while I'm doing this?
I'm trying to focus on catching up.
Oh, you're making it too? That's so nice.
Yeah, maybe Boaz can.
I'll tell a story.
Duh.
I think that this can be a main course for dinner or breakfast or lunch. And that's why half of that loaf is missing.
Oh, that was very good.
Really, really good. Okay, so basically, here we go. You could see that it's just like any kind of batter. In fact, we don't usually make muffins, but you could put it in a muffin, make muffins from this if you prefer. We just always put it in 2 loaf pans. And now what I'm gonna do, we're gonna divide it in half because we want to put blueberries in half. So I'll just use this bowl. Okay, 1 sec. Okay, now I have half here. I'm just gonna put half like that about. Here, and Aaron, why don't you put blueberries? He's gonna put blueberries in the loaf that he wanted blueberries. So I'm not gonna put the whole bag in because it's only half now, even though, believe me, I'd be tempted to put the whole bag, even though it's only half of the batter. But I'm not. By the way, I do make a really good chocolate chip cheesecake too. It's the Mrs. Fields recipe. And many years ago at the Temple Beth Shavuot Harvest Festival, I got Kids' Choice Award for my cheesecake.
But that'll be different.
If Leah invites me back, I'll make my cheesecake.
Of course.
But cheesecake really doesn't lend itself to be parve, so it wouldn't have gone well with the meatballs. But you can make this parve to go with your meatball recipe. Okay, now okay. So I don't have, I grease these 2 loaf pans. I often have the spray, but I was out, so I just took some butter. And now I'm gonna put this into 1 loaf pan, just like that. So easy. So easy to do this. Is anyone gonna try this at home? Is anyone gonna do this?
I am making it as you speak.
Oh my God, Renee's
Yep.
daughter Liat grew up with my daughter Tamar since they were 2 years old. And Renee lives.
And I believe my granddaughter Hannah Grinblatt is making it with her mom Ilana now.
And Rachel and I are doing it too.
Oh,
And Liat's doing it. Liat's doing it in theory. She really wanted to do it, but she as a final.
Doing it, yeah.
So awesome. Okay. So just make sure that you take it out of the oven at the right time because you really don't want to have like, you want it to
Can I
be.
just say something about breads, Natalie?
Yeah.
I make loaves a lot.
Mhm.
And oftentimes, you're going to tell us how many minutes you do it for, but oftentimes I have to put a tent of tin foil over it because the middle doesn't seem to, at least in my oven, the middle doesn't seem to bake as well.
Oh, really?
So I tent the
the batter is amazing.
pan, And I just cut out a hole in the middle, so the middle bakes a few minutes longer.
Okay. That's interesting.
Did you say how long to bake it for?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
The recipe, I'm just pouring so you can see I'm putting the blueberry into this pan. Just want to try and get as much of the batter out as I can. Using a spatula. Okay. And then you can see I have just push it into the corners. This is, I don't think I did totally even. So this loaf is going to be a little bit like shorter than the other, like lower, not as high. So you can see the two. There we go. And now we're just going to put it in the oven. So it's 40 to 50 minutes, but I would definitely put it in for like 35 to 40 and be checking it. You don't want it to keep going. It'll start to get, as you can see, like this is brown on top, you know, so you could see, I did check it and everything. It came out totally clean. But a lot of times my family will also just warm it in the microwave for 10 seconds. Like the next day, we just have it out and everybody's eating it till it's gone.
How long do you bake it for, Nat?
The recipe says 40 to 50 minutes, but I would definitely be checking it. Stick a knife in it, starting at like 35 minutes.
At 350, right?
350, yeah. And so I'm gonna put this in the oven now, right like that. And yeah. And let's see. I guess that's it. We could, I don't know if we have are there any questions?
It's a great recipe. I've made it many times through many years.
Oh, awesome, Bonnie. Great. Boaz, do you have anything else to add?
It makes a great late night snack. And also I usually have it with a glass of milk. That's my preferred way of eating / enjoying. Yeah. And I have to say, it's one of the things I miss most when I'm away from home.
Oh, oh nice.
That's a hint. You need to make it and send it.
I guess.
Ooh.
Yeah, my kids could tell you stories about my disasters. Oh, okay, Aaron doesn't. He wants me to inspire confidence in all of you. So I won't tell you about how we left the Brussels sprouts in the oven and went on vacation. And then the people staying in our house had to like suss out where this bad smell was coming from. We won't go there. Anything else, Tamar? How's it going?
Okay, we don't have loaf pan, but I have this gorgeous banana bread about to go in. My roommates are very excited, but they're going to be upset when they hear that it's 40 to 50 minutes. Wait, do I need to put foil on the top? Is that a good idea?
Wait, I don't. Mallory, you said you do something with foil?
Yeah, so after I check it after like the 35-minute mark, I stick the, a tester in, and usually my middle is not done. The middle takes longer, so then I put foil over and I cut a hole over the middle so the middle can bake more and not burn the sides.
Oh, got it.
Okay.
So,
but Tamar, you have a flatter pan. It might bake differently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good point.
I'm talking about a loaf
not
pan.
like so deep, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
I just got a message from Melissa. I think we're going to switch back over to her. Thank you so much, Natalie. This was awesome. And I appreciate your honesty with your cooking challenges, because I'm sure plenty of us have some, and it's okay.
And I'm impressed with your successes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And
So
to
much
see Tamar and Boaz. So.
Yes, so great to have you guys join. But thank you. And so we're going to switch over to Melissa, and she's going to show the meatballs cooking. It sounds like they're just about done.
Right. Well, yeah, they're just simmering. The meatballs are simmering. And I just thought you would like to see what they look like in the pot. Nice red colored sauce. The meatballs are intact. And that's why you cook them. You let them, you put them in the water till they're done so that they're firm and they don't disintegrate. So I just wanted you to see it. I've tasted the sauce a couple of times. I'm not adjusting it. I'm not adding more lemon juice. I'm not adding more.
And tell them about the mistake in the cookbook.
Oh yeah, in the cookbook, if you have the Pressman Academy cookbook, I noticed when somebody said Natalie didn't include bananas in her banana bread recipe, I looked at closely at the Pressman Academy cookbook, sweet and sour meatballs, and it's heavy on the brown sugar. The amount of brown sugar is 1/4 cup per pound of meat. So if you're making 2 pounds of meat, you want 1/2 cup. In the Pressman Academy cookbook, it says 1 cup of brown sugar. So anyway, make that adjustment if you're using the Pressman Academy cookbook. So anyway, thank you. This has been fun.
Thank you so much.
Can I just really briefly, I should have done this at the beginning, but I just wanted, is Ed still on here? Did Ed leave? Oh, Ed, I just wanted everyone to meet Ed. He's a brand new Temple Bethlehem member from this year. So Ed, I think.
Hi, Ed.
Hello.
Welcome,
Nice to meet you all.
Maybe you know some people already, I guess, but we're so glad.
I've seen a few people around.
It's nice to meet you.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you.
And I just want to thank Mira. I couldn't have done this technologically or preparation-wise without Mira's help and partnership. And just happy to have her around and be my partner in all endeavors, most especially cooking, preparing, consuming, in general, everything food related.
Give yourself more credit, Melissa.
Nice to
What?
see you, Mira.
Give yourself more credit, Melissa.
It was all mommy.
No.
Except for the
Couldn't have-
technology. She
couldn't have
can't
done
do
it.
that.
Couldn't have done it without this girl.
Yeah,
And thank
I'm
you.
super
Teamwork.
grateful.
Pleasure
This
to work
is
with
not
Natalie,
easy.
too.
This is, you
No, it
guys
was
stepped up
stressful.
and said yes to a task that is definitely somewhat new for a lot of you. So real quick before we head out or we end this session, because we want to let you guys go on time, I just want to mention what we have to come. February 18th, we are actually partnering with Rabbi Susan Leiter's community, Congregation Kol Shofar in the Bay Area. And we'll have someone teaching Hamantashen in connection to Purim, and then someone from our community is going to be teaching a Persian dish. And then in March, we're going to have a session on the 28th, which is actually a Sunday, which is different than we usually do. And Jane Willoughby is going to be teaching chopped and fried gefilte fish, Jane Willoughby. And our very own executive director, Cheryl, is going to be cooking. Cheryl, can you remind me the name of the roles you're going to be teaching? Trying to find well, you'll get all that information in the email I'm going to be sending out. I'm looking at it right now. So basically, it is. Anyway, you guys will get all the information, but a huge thanks again to everybody. And we hope to see you next month. So
thank you for organizing. Fun to see everybody.
My pleasure.
Bye, Nat.
Bye, Renee. I want to hear how all of your
Bye, thank you.
And everything.
How all of my what?
How everything comes out.
I'm just trying to figure out how to make meatballs with one hand.
Oh, okay.
Cooking has become a challenge since I've had one hand. So most of it I can manage with like 3 fingers, but the meatballs are a little hard. I may just have to use a spoon and dump them.
Right.
Your sous chef.
Yeah, my sous chef. He's gonna have to come down. I told him he's gonna have to help me with this. He's a good sous chef. He is.
He is.
Bye,
With that
everybody.
said, we're going to be heading out. Thank you again. And
Yeah,
have
what'd
a
you do
good
to
night.
your hand?
Oh, no, it's just a jacket that has a hole in this
Oh,
sleeve.
okay.
No.
It looked like the brace that I was wearing. So
Yeah, it does. It does. But all right, everybody. We'll
See
see
you
you
all.
hopefully
Bye.
next month.
Thank you.
bye. Looks good, Mal. Looks good.